Welcome to B3 RV and our working Wednesday. This week I want to talk about tires. Traveling all the time, I see tire maintenance getting neglected pretty good. I don't see anybody really checking their tires, checking their air pressure, checking their lug nuts, or even looking at their leaf springs. I see people just back their trucks up, connect the camper and go. I don't see anybody walking around doing really good tire maintenance. And maybe that's why I hear so many people talking about blowouts on the road. So let's run through some basic stuff you should be doing with your tires just to look at it. None of it's hard. It's all pretty simple to do, and it could save you a huge hassle before you go and blow out a tire going down the road. So one of the first things you want to do is make sure there's nothing protruding from your tires. You didn't pick up a nail, staple, backing out of campgrounds, some tent stake. Last night we're in, somebody left a couple tent stakes. I almost hit one with the truck. So what you do is just run your hand along the outside of your tire. You're just feeling for something penetrating. And yes, they will get a little dirty. You don't feel anything, and you want to come over and you want to look at your treads. You want to make sure your treads are nice and deep. These tires have maybe about 1,500 miles on them, maybe a little more than that because I just replaced them back in March. You want to check your tread. You want to check that they're wearing evenly, that they're not either cupping in the middle or if you're wearing the edges off. Because if you're doing any of that, you want to go have your tires looked at. And when you're down in here, you also want to be looking at your leaf spring assembly. Right, I like to check mine, make sure all these bolts are on and tight. I like to check all these welds up here, make sure those welds are good. And now I have 3 axles, so I have 4 connections, front to rear on each side. So I like to check them all. Like I said, the welds are important. You want to look on the front side. This is an inspection I do every time before we move. And the back sides I do every couple thousand miles. I'll climb underneath there and make sure those are good. You also want to check your tire pressure. I know a lot of people say I have TPM and I rely on that. Well, I've got one in the truck too. And yes, it's pretty accurate, but do I trust 100%? No. So I like to come out and just check and make sure my tire pressure is good. I don't know if you saw that it was quick. This is one here sometimes likes to just release, but I'm at 110 pounds. All right. And my tires are heavy duty 14 ply tires. The rims are rated for 110 pounds. The tires are rated for 110 pounds. I usually run them about 100, 102 cold, just because a friend of mine that does truck tires for a living, so that's all he runs the semis at, is 100 pounds. But sitting here out in the heat, they're 110 pounds cold now, sitting here in the heat. So last time I put air into them, I only brought them to 102. So you can see the temperature here has manually brought the pressure up. So no inflate gate, because the changes in air temperature and altitude make a difference. So again, I put 102 in there last time. I'm at 110 here cold. Another thing I do is I check my lug nuts. I know I did a video on this before, but these torque wrenches don't cost that much. And every time I do it, I find at least 1 or 2 on the 6 tires that are loose. So just want to make sure you just get in here and now I set this to 110. Should be 110 to 120 pounds. So I set it to 110. And I just want to go around and just check they're all tight. Alright, so you just want to go all the way around the tire. I start at the top, work my way around counterclockwise to make sure I got them all. I don't do that every time we move. If we're parked for like 3 weeks, I do it because the trailer just sits here and rocks in these tires. I think that's when they loosen up a little bit. It's just the rocking. I don't think they loosen up too much as we're driving down the road. But that's what you need to do for your tire checks. Check your treads, make sure there's nothing protruding. Check your air pressure, check your lug nuts. Look at your leaf springs. Like I said, I get more in depth every couple thousand miles. I'll climb underneath there, check the leaf springs. I'll check the U-bolts, make sure none of them are rusted or breaking or cracked. Because that's, you know, people I know that don't look at them ever. Yeah, they end up with troubles on the side of the road. So, not that I'm gonna say nothing will ever happen. Lord knows, if it can happen, it will. But taking that little preventative maintenance step doesn't hurt a bit. So that's this week's Working Wednesday. It's really just going over your tire maintenance, make sure your tire's in great shape. As always, hope this video helps. Hope you enjoy watching us here at Be Free RV, and we hope to see you all on the road.